The word in Hawaii is pono, Pono, and it
Yes.
means doing good without any intention of receiving in return.
Yeah.
And when you live your life that pono, teachings of Christ tell you that too. You know, love your neighbors, you love yourself, and do good for others, and good will come back. And if you think that way and you live that way, no matter how many unique situations and opportunities befall upon you in your path and your journey in life, you end up on your feet. You end up on
That's
your feet.
wonderful. Joining me is Bobby Pileggi. He is award-winning record producer, music publisher, message songwriter who writes to correct the wrong ways in life. He's also a poet, and he's here today to talk about his award-winning career, how it all began, and what is next for him. Welcome, Bobby. I would like to talk to you about, special moments like Another Rainbow. You could talk about that. That would be wonderful.
Another rainbow, and I'm glad you asked that question. That was a very interesting story. I had a good friend of mine named Uncle Derek Singh, and he was a real Kanaka Maoli, a real Hawaiian. Good heart, loved me, that I was from New York. When we met, he was a massage therapist. And when we met, he was massaging my other partner here in Hawaii, Lanai Tabora. And what happened was he found out I was from New York, and I guess he thought I lived in the Midtown Tunnel. So we became instant friends. And what happened was we had a journey together of about 4 or 5 years. And then one night he was on the phone. He had heart problems because he used to be a deep sea diver and he got the bends. So the bends compromised his heart. So he called me up October 24th, 2011, and told me his heart was acting up. I go, bro, you got to go to the doctor. And he ended up having a heart attack and died 20 minutes later. I was asked to speak at his funeral, do the eulogy in December. And after that, I had these lyrics that came into my mind. And just what I wrote was what you heard in the song. And since I came up with the lyrics, I needed a writer to come up with a melody. And I picked this guy named Bo Napoleon, who was a young artist that I really took under my wing. And he did the melody for it. Well, that song, we had 2 different people doing 2 versions of it. It started developing a heartbeat and growing. And what happened was the 2 top radio stations were doing battle of the versions. One station was playing Bo's version, the other place was playing Bubba B's version. And before I knew it, it started just growing and growing. And then in 2013, I had a visit from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Tak Naguchi. And little did I know, he ran a company. He was on the board for a company called Asahi TV Create in Tokyo. And I told him the whole story about this song. And he's writing notes. And next minute, he calls me in March of 2014 and says, we're going to do a documentary, 2 hours of it. He was from a group called the Southern All-Stars. The Southern All-Stars is the Beatles and the Rolling Stones in Japan of fame. So they were going to do this documentary revolving around this song dedicated to 311, the Fukushima nuclear reactor going meltdown, the tsunami that killed all those people. And what I didn't won an award in the town of where they had not Nagasaki. My brain is just all of a sudden fluttering because of this story. Fukushima, in the town of Fukushima, Japan.
Yes.
They had a coal mine there, and when nuclear energy came up, they closed down the coal mine, and the vice president of the coal mine wanted to give an opportunity for the Japanese people that lost their jobs from the coal mine. So he built this complex like Orlando, Disneyland, Epcot, called Hawaii Spa Hawaiian Resort. And when you go there, it's a whole enclave of hotels and restaurants and entertainment, all for Hawaii, all about Hawaii. And it's for the Japanese that don't have time to fly to Hawaii and can't afford to. So they all go there. And there was this woman named Mrs. Hi'iaka, and she was a kumohula. 50 years ago, she went to Hawaii. She met a Hawaiian hula teacher, and she taught her, the Japanese lady, Mrs. Hayaka, the hula. She went back to Japan, and 50 years later, over 1 million hula dance companies are in Japan because of this. And what happened was, in Mrs. Hayaka's hula troupe from Spa Hawaiian, they were on tour when the tsunami hit, and the lead hula dancer's whole family was killed. And the only thing that kept her going was this song, and it all revolved around it. So they flew us to Japan, and we went to Fukushima. They did the documentary. It hit. It was one of the highlights of my life. And the message in the song is powerful. And to get it translated, and since then we've had it performed in Japanese, in Hebrew, in Arabic, in Hawaiian, and English. And it's a song that is like somewhere over the rainbow. And for me, it's just to help people's lives through music, to give them inspiration through doldrums and bad time in their lives. It's what a writer does. We write to correct the wrongs in life.
Yes. And, music unites people. And, to describe your music, like it's to bring hope and healing.
And that's what I've been doing now. For the last 10 years, we've been writing songs of message. Another Rainbow, Brother for the People. I wrote that one for President Obama. And we actually went on television in Hawaii when he was here on vacation right before the turnout in 2015, and actually 15, I think 15. I kind of try to white out the last 4 years. And what happened was, we sent him the song. I had a plaque made with a gold record plaque and a citation for him, and he ended up getting it. And what happened was, I wanted to approach him in a different kind of way. So I had the artist, Taz Vegas, that sang the song. I had his son write a letter to Obama, and I gave him some help. And what ended up happening is, we sent him this big, huge plaque with the song, and we never heard back from him. Never heard back from him. 1 week, January 13th, before DJT got in, we get a package from the White House with a letter and thanks and pictures. And this little boy that wrote the letter took it to class. He was a hero there, and again, it was one of those things that inspired me through politics and through love, religion, that creates these songs that help people out. Brother for the People is an amazing song. I don't know if you've seen the video. Yeah. We filmed it in New York and in Hawaii, and it's just one of those songs that it's about world peace, racial equality, Another rainbow, we put in our environment. We have to protect our environment, our world. Don't Stop the Children was another one. I wrote that in response to the Parkland shootings and the Sandy Hook shootings. No More Walls, I wrote that about the crazy wall that number 45 wanted to build to separate people, you know. And in the beginning of the song, it starts off, walls don't separate people, people separate people, you know. And these are just, and then the Me Too song, that we wrote for women's rights, you know. Betsy Hammer, who sang the song, when she was an assistant music supervisor for Adam Sandler. She helped place all the music in his films, and I met her through working with Adam on a placement. I got one of my artist songs in one of his films, Just Go For It. And when I approached Betsy on the song, she wanted to cry because she was a victim of abuse. So, you know, again, music cleans those closets out of the skeletons that have been lying in there in people's lives for many years. It's really, I call it my second religion. Yes. When you think about it.
Yes, and I mean, you also like "I Want My Island Girl." That's another song. I mean, you have, the list goes on, but you know, can you tell us about "I Want My Island Girl"? That's great.
I basically, what happened was, Daryl Labrato, after Brad died, I had the duty of finding another producer. So I went to New York and I found this guy through my friend who, Scotto Savitt, great friend of mine. I've known him for 50 some odd years. What happened was Chris Patty came to, oh my God, talk about luck. So we're going to do Daryl's album, right? So I go to New York, I meet the guy. We're planning, I fly everybody, Scotto, the producer, to Hawaii. But guess what day we plan to send him out on? September 11th, 2001. Flying from Newark. Oh. Needless to say, they never made it on that flight. But a week later, they came out and we ended up doing it. And we did Daryl's album. It was called Someday. And we did a cover of Stevie Wonder's Master Blaster. And the song did so well. It was written up in Billboard. We charted in Billboard. We got 2 reviews in that. And Billboard now took a liking to Daryl. So a year later, I had this idea, since Daryl has so many girls, let me write songs for his fans. So we wrote I Want My Island Girl. So that was another one that we did. And we wanted to go more kind of dance oriented on it. So that's the story behind that. But, you know, all these incidents that have happened, between Sterling losing his sons, to Brad dying of esophageal cancer, to flying my friends out on September 11th to do an album, it shows you that the music industry is not always what you think about it and you see and you dream about it. It's a lot of hills and valleys, trials and tribulations. But the more you're in it, the more you become experienced, and that you develop wisdom. If you survive, you get wise, and that only adds to your craft.
That's wonderful.
And your ability.
Bobby, tell us the music scene or the landscape in Hawaii.
The Wild West. I started a publishing company in 2002. No, 2001. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I started getting checks. Oh. And then I started going around the island, educating locals about publishing. It changed the whole business. I brought millions into this state that would have never been ever unearthed or found unless I was doing what I did, creating economic opportunity for. And my mantra is, those that live in the music, I want them to make a living out of their music. But it's difficult because no disrespect to the Hawaiians, we have two different cultures. I'm brought up in New York, the East Coast, educated, well off. A lot of the people I work with, they have hardship, but they have one thing that you don't really find too often in the music business: unfound, unpolished, unearthed talent to write and record music. So coming from my culture and background, a lot of people don't want to see me succeed here. It hasn't been easy. I've never knew prejudice till I came to Hawaii. You know, it's a pride issue. They don't want to see a white guy helping them out their own, but that's their problem. You know, the island of Molokai, there was never that issue at all. This is the real Hawaiian island, and they see who you are and not who they see who your heart is and not who they think you to be. And this has been my solace, my refuge, my nirvana here, and sanctuary. So I work here. The pandemic came. I worked here. So, you know, it's been a challenge. I've been here a year. It's rough, but you know, we have in Hawaii. Back to your question, as I'm pontificating, it's like Nashville, it's like Austin, it's like LA and New York. Only, and there's all sorts of fusion of genres. There's R&B, there's reggae, there's soul, rock, country, hip hop, and rap. So I created a genre to best fuse everything called IPOP.
IPOP.
Like the iPhone. Little I stands for island, POP stands for people of Polynesia or the Pacific. Awesome. And that helped give an identity to this genre. So, but it's been interesting. It's been tough because I have to cut through a lot. The fact I live on Molokai is a bonus, because when here a white guy living on Molokai, they go, "What are you doing there? That's only where the Hawaiians live." And I go, "That's why I'm here." So it's kind of like diplomatic immunity. Plus the work that I did with Daryl, also helping kids out, that went a long way. So it's been an interesting journey here, and I love it. I really do. When you meet the right people, you connect. Like us, you're fantastic, and I can tell that your heart is in the right place in everything that you do. I can see that.
Thank you, Bobby. It was the same here. Like, I'm just, you know, as I said at the very beginning, it's a, you know, an honor to speak with you. And, you know, I think every day we're learning from each other, and where you are is beyond gorgeous. It's peaceful, and you know, can you tell us what projects are you working on right now?
Okay, sure. We just finished up I'm an American, yeah, with Hana, which you interviewed a couple of weeks ago. And that's really well. Hana and I are two different people, but we've managed to connect. You know, I approached him with this idea a year ago in November, and I was hounding him for it, and it took time. Hawaiian is Ho'omanavanui, but we got to get this song, and I told her to write lyrics, and I said, "Look, this doesn't work with me. The way it works, I write lyrics, you guys do the melody. This is how we team. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you a shot. And if there's any lyric I don't like, I have poetic license to edit." And he goes, "Sure." And you know what? What he approached me with was so perfect, I couldn't complain. I said, "This is it. I'm not changing anything." And so now this song is really starting to pick up. And thanks to you, thanks to the people on Facebook and YouTube, it just keeps exponentially, and it's bringing emotion out of people. And surprisingly enough, not that I want to get political, but I'm very anti-Trump, as you can tell. I worked with the guy. I know him very well. I am not one to be fooled. But it's literally appreciated by Trump supporters like no end. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. So we're taking that song and we're doing what I've never done as a publisher. I'm creating an industry out of it where we have a fan club. We have merchandise coming out now. I'm an American Yet t-shirts. It's a statement. I'm actually going to shop it with some, something told me in my dream, get Steve Tyler, who lives in Hawaii, to cover this song. So that's on one of my to-do bucket kind lists. And so that's going good. And then this new song that I'm working on is, we finished it. I started it in the pandemic in right before the summertime in 2020. But the guy that I hired to do the melody for it, he just couldn't, he went to the Philippines. So he got stuck there. So I couldn't do anything with him. Sugar Girl. And wonderful friend. And the song is called Summer Days Are Here Again. And it's a positive song about a new time in people's lives. Every day is summer when you have something change. Summer has in our lives from the East Coast, summer has such great fond memories, nostalgia wise. And this is a great song. It's going to be winter. So I'm working on that. Got to sign a few new artists. Just signed this girl named Rachel Cruz, who did a song. And this song is, I actually went, she set up a meeting last week when I was in Honolulu, first time I left the island in a year, with Brian Spicer, he's an American film director. He's the executive director and producer for Magnum PI. So I pitched him her new song. It's called Creeping Under My Skin. And Rachel came to me with a song. It was originally called Under My Skin. So I said, Rachel, no disrespect for your title, but we got to change it. Cole Porter wrote a song, Under My Skin. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, everybody in the world, Fred Astaire sang that song. So let's change the title. So I listened to the song and I go, how about Creeping Under My Skin? It sounds really ominous. So she loved it. And now she's doing she did a video for it. And she's a great girl. She's what you call the perfect artist. She's perfect personality, listens, understands, takes direction, and is creative and inspiring. She's really good. And I met her through you.
Yes. No, she's wonderful. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean,
we open doors.
Yeah, I believe in, destiny, things happen and it's timing, as you mentioned earlier. And what do you want people to take from your music, from your writing? And
I want them to be inspired to do what they want the most in life. When I give talks at the university pre-COVID, people would ask me questions and I say, in life, find something that you love to do and make a living out of it. And you'll be so happy. People give credit to Mark Twain for saying it. Chinese give credit to Confucius, but the bottom line, it's a key to happiness. I wrote a book called, I forgot to even tell you about it. It's one of my poetry books. It's called Between the Lines of Water and Light. And basically, it's my interpretation of the world. The light is the light of God, the light of hope, the light of inspiration. Water is what we're made out of. It's what keeps us, we could live on water more than food if we're ever stuck in a desert. Not that that's my preference. And the lines is communication. And between the lines of God and our foundation is water, we're 95, 6, 7, 8% water, is communication. And that's what makes life about it. And in the book, one of my lines is, no one is immune from life's ailing sentences, and life is tough, but through the power of music, through writing, it gives people direction. It gives people insight, hope, light, peace. And that's all I want from them to learn from my songs, is to A, pass them on so they can spread the love and spread the message, and two, be inspired to do what you want in life, as I have.
Yes, definitely. It's wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Bobby?
Follow your dream. You can make your dream a reality.
Yes.
You can, you know, and it's don't set goals that are too high for you, that are impossible, but set goals that are doable. That way you won't be disappointed. And again, make your life worth living. Do things for others. You know, I believe that in life, giving back, you know, life is give and take. And too many of us, and I've been guilty of it, have taken. It's time to give, because when you give, it comes back in multitudes.
And where can people, find your music or listen?
You can go, you know, some of the songs I recommend is Another Rainbow by Bubba B. Bo Napoleon, B.O. Napoleon did a version. That's one I recommend. Brother for the People by Taz Vegas, T-A-Z Vegas. Don't Stop the Children by Taz Vegas, another one. No More Walls, Taz Vegas. Brown Sugar Girl by Mike Izon. It's a great video. I-Z-O-N.
Yes.
Two Hands in a Prayer by Daryl Labrato is a great one.
So yeah, no, it's wonderful. And I want to thank you very much for sharing your story. I mean, I could talk to you for another hour.
It's been between the pandemonium that our country has experienced with our last administration and the pandemic, it's been heart-wrenching. And hopefully with a new year, a new light, new leader, we're going to get things done, you know. And you know, it's a shame what happened, but like what I did, I turned the pandemic around into a creative year. And you know, again, that's what music's all about. It's taking the negative and channeling it into the positive.
And that's what you're doing. And it's wonderful. We'll do this again. So, another interview, which is I look
Please,
forward to.
please, we can always have
Yeah.
part two. You got it, Christine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And as they say,
Okay.
"Ai moi olo olo, malama pono," please take very good care.
You too. Okay, bye for now, Bobby.